Hey y'all, this is Moni.
And this is Kat.
Hey Kat. And this is the Fake Ass Book Club. Wait, can we both say it or no?
All right, guys, welcome back to the Fake Ass Book Club. It's your girl, Moni.
And this is Kat.
Oh, sorry. I don't know why I did that. No, yes, you did.
I didn't really. I should let you hit the last note.
It's okay. It was going to go on whether you started talking or not, friends. So welcome back, friends. It's the holiday episode
of the Fake Ass Book Club. I'm feeling Christmassy.
Wow.
Are you feeling Christmassy?
I'm
look
feeling
Christmassy.
A very festive, friend, as you can notice.
Okay.
I'm wearing a sweater here that has wine glasses and grapes and cheese and snowflakes. So
it is wine o'clock.
Ooh, wait. Speaking of that, friend, cheers.
Cheers
to the holiday.
Thank you so much.
For all of our friends out there, if you don't celebrate Christmas, whatever holiday season you're in, happy winter solstice. Happy all of the things. Hanukkah. Yes, there's so many different holidays.
Yeah, there's all kind of things. It's almost the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. I know, man. So
we did a lot.
We always do a lot, friend, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
We're busy ladies. But I'm excited about today's episode because we're going to be talking about Wicked, friend. This is it was a very highly anticipated film. I know that this is a book that's old. Also, there's been many plays about it, but now we have this cinematic experience that is Wicked. So technically today we're supposed to be talking about the book, friend. And I have a confession.
What?
I've been naughty, friend.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Can I tell you?
Well, you know what?
Secret?
Everybody's been naughty. Everybody's got flaws.
Okay.
If you've been kicked off Santa's list, here comes something clause. So you know what? Everybody getting something.
Everybody getting
so
something.
Even this is the beauty of this podcast you created, is that even if you don't do it, you can show up super fake.
I love that. We're really leaning into the
Yeah.
I'm really leaning into the essence of this podcast today because I didn't read the book. I did not see the movie. I, however, years ago did see the screenplay. So I feel like I'm still qualified to be here.
You are. And let's talk about what you did do this week.
Lots of stuff.
Oh my goodness.
So-
Like running a household is no joke. And don't you have some sort of job or something
Yeah, man,
that
it's
you go
annoying.
to?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. It's fine. But yeah, so I'm excited though because I know you actually did listen to the book, and I'm curious to know like how different it is. I really am ready to get into this and explore Wicked, this whole Wicked universe here. So before we do that, you guys, I want to give you a little synopsis about this piece. And actually, this is going to be a description of the movie because I didn't even bother to find the book information. So
That's fine. I think I got
we'll
some
do that
stuff.
next. Okay.
Yeah, here we go.
All right.
Boom.
Excellent. All right, so guys, the highly anticipated film Wicked brings the beloved Broadway musical to the big screen, exploring the untold story of the Witches of Oz. Directed by Jon M. This cinematic adaptation follows the complex relationship between Elphaba, played by Cynthia Erivo, a misunderstood young woman with green skin, and Glinda, Ariana Grande, a privileged and ambitious peer. The two meet at Shiz University and form an unlikely friendship that is tested after an encounter with the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Wicked is the first part of the 2-film series, with the second installment due for release in 2025. So that's the general story here. And I think we should dedicate the episode real quick, and then we'll get into the book. See, because I don't know why I've been forgetting that. That's really messed up. So you guys, let's get into it with this dedication. So hands over your hearts. As always, we want to dedicate this episode, you guys, to our patrons. We truly appreciate you. It's been years now. Like, I feel like we have years of partnership with you guys, and we truly appreciate it over time. Also wanted to dedicate this to actually each and every one of our listeners, new and old. If you're new here, thank you so much for taking a chance on us. We hope you enjoy the content. And for those of you who have been riding with us since the beginning, we super appreciate it. Our gratitude is not lost. And so, yeah, what about you, friend?
I love that. My dedication this week is going out to Takashi Murakami. He's linking up with Louis Vuitton again to do another collab. And so if you don't remember, like the Louis Vuitton bags that had like the little cherries and cherry blossoms, and he also did the cover art for, I think, The Dropout for Kanye, like those teddy bears and stuff like that. A lot of times when you see his work, you recognize it. But I've been getting a lot of I just love his work.
That's awesome.
I've had kind of like an artsy-fartsy week. So I'm like, yeah, I wanted to dedicate this to an artist who's like inspiring me. And he's such a weirdo. I love it so hard. Like, he just does what he wants to do. And I mean, that's the goal. Like, to me, I want to get to that point where I'm like, I'm just doing what I want because it feels good. I'm almost there, but not all the way. I'm still a little self-conscious. So, dedication over. What?
That was a burp. It came through my nose.
Oh,
It
I'm
burned.
sorry.
Sorry, everyone. Wow.
Oh, it looked painful.
It was.
I thought I had said, I was like, was it something I said? Because I feel like everything's about me.
No,
But
no, actually, I was privately suffering.
okay,
and
it wasn't about me.
It wasn't this time. Thankfully. No.
Most times.
No. Yeah, so that's awesome. I love to hear that you've been inspired. I was glancing at your iPad and I saw the little sketches of the flowers on there. I feel like when that was popular, we were popping at that time. Like that was really.
We were pretty young. I feel like it was like almost 20 years ago.
It really was.
It was a long time ago.
Back when
but
I
I
had
remember
abs.
when I first saw it, it was like a layout in Vogue, and it was Naomi Campbell like holding the bag and like laying on a suitcase and like these sand dunes. Might pull it up now if I'm feeling ambitious, like
If
on
not,
the
Google
YouTube
it.
if you see it. But I was just like, this is incredible. Like I loved it so freaking hard. So yeah.
Iconic. It's very.
And I saw
iconic
some
for
of his
him.
work at went to Newfields this week. And so he was part a shoe design he had was part of an exhibit there. And stuff like that. So yeah, I just can't get enough of it. So
I love that. I love that. Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing. All right, friends. So now that we're here, So again, the assignment was to read the book. Let me be honest. So I went to Libby and I looked it up. For one, it was on hold. It was like on hold for like 20 weeks or something. And then in addition to that, it was a 22-hour read. And I thought I could go on Audible or somewhere else and get it, but I didn't want to use my credit for that because I knew I wasn't going to finish it. The kind of week, I was like, there's just no way. It was too busy at work. I was just like, I ain't going to be able to do it. So
when I suggested it, I had no idea it was such a tall order. I thought it would be like just a lighthearted romp or something like that. Because same for me, I actually used Hoopla to look it up. Because I have like two accounts. I got a Libby account and a Hoopla account. So the Hoopla account is hooked up to a different library card and it was ready right away.
jealous.
But then I saw the runtime. I was like, 22 hours? Good Lord. That's a part-time job. So
For real.
I did listen to it on 1.5 speed. I regret nothing. I actually started reading because it's a part of a 4-part series.
I saw the books at Costco when I was out shopping.
Really?
I did. I was like, man, this is the whole thing.
Enchilada.
Altogether. Yeah.
So I started, the next one is Son of a Witch.
I saw that.
So
Very
I
punny.
didn't, so I started actually listening to that today, but I did finish it because I was like, well, if I don't finish it, it's fine. It'll be, but it really drew me in. It was so good.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So
So are you okay with spoilers? Because it's nuts.
Of course. And I want you, before we get into it, just give a little bit about the book and stuff like
Sure.
that, and then we'll dive right in.
So I'm taking this from Wikipedia. American novel, Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West is an American novel published in 1995, written by Gregory Maguire with illustrations by Douglas Smith. It was the first in the Wicked Years series and was followed by Son of a Witch. Wicked is a darker and more adult-themed revisionist exploration of the characters and setting of the 1900 novel The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum. Yes, and that's how we get the character Elphaba, because it's an amalgamation of L. Frank Baum, Elphaba.
Okay, I like it.
So,
friend.
okay, can I give you, I got extremely intrigued with Gregory Maguire, because I was like, okay, who wrote this? Because I'm like, this is deep. So I'm going to give you a little background here. Maguire began contemplating the nature of evil while living in London in the early 1990s. He noticed while there were problems of evil had been explored by many different perspectives, those perspectives were seldom synthesized together. He wondered whether calling a person evil might be enough to cause a self-fulfilling prophecy. So
Interesting.
Everyone seems to be sort of at least a little familiar with the Elphaba. She's born green and she has problems with it. So a lot of people, if you're an outsider, you can just relate to the Elphaba character of it's like she's wicked. You know, like I think the first song in the musical is "No One Mourns the Wicked."
Yeah, it is.
And-
Because I pulled it up. I was trying to listen at least a little bit to the music.
And it's just this big celebration of like, yeah, finally this wicked girl, she's gone. But if you're familiar with any of the Wizard of Oz properties, you know that the Wizard of Oz is a fraud. And he actually uses a ton of political propaganda against his enemies. And Elphaba was just seen as an enemy. Like she was someone who just caught on real quick. She's like,
I see through that bullshit.
yeah. And so I wasn't ready at all. Because this was a psychological, social, sexual trees through. Yeah, it was. Okay. So the very first scene, Elphaba is like hiding in a tree and she hears like the lion, the Tin Man, Dorothy talking shit about her. Because they're like, oh, well, I heard she was castrated. And they were like, I heard she was born a hermaphrodite. And it's like, well, I heard she was gay. And yes, this is how it starts, okay? I was like, what?
Pearls collected.
So to take it back, here's what happened. So Elphaba's parents, her daddy was a minister. Let me get these names because it's thick. Okay, the plot is thick. Okay, where are my characters? I thought I had the characters here. Where did it go? They had the characters. Where did they go?
It's because we're recording.
Oh, here it
and
is.
now
Major
you-
characters.
Yeah.
Okay, so her mama was Melina and her daddy was Frex. And Frex was a minister because they had a religion called the Unionists. And they worshiped the unnamed God. And so he went and like his thing was he was trying to fight the pleasure religion because there was this dragon clock that was influencing people. So he was trying to preach against that. So his wife is the beautiful Melina, and she's pregnant when this is starting. But we have to go back a little bit further because before she got pregnant, she was like, oh, I might have been having sex with other people. I can't really remember because I was kind of getting lit. And so... I mean, this is a bit of a spoiler, but long story short, like the Wizard of Oz, before he became a wizard, he was like a door-to-door salesman selling like little potions and stuff like that. So he had like given a potion to Melina's mom in a little green bottle and then smashed her. And then she had a little green baby, Elphaba.
He smashed her, the Wizard of Oz, before he was the Wiz?
Mm-hmm.
He just
Took her down.
In the Wiz. Wow.
Yeah, took her down.
Wow.
So...
Okay.
And then Elphaba's born. She's got these sharp teeth. She's green. So originally, like because this was back in the days when they like just put her to sleep to have the baby. So Melina's knocked out, and so the women who like the midwives, they were like, we should just drown her. And so one of them put her finger in her mouth to like and Elphaba bit it off.
Of course.
And so after that, they were too scared to do anything to her. So they're like, take your green baby and go.
Get up out of
And
here.
also the dragon clock had told all the like little munchkin people to kill the minister and his wife and stuff. So they kind of had to hide out. And it died down or whatever. A couple years later, her sister's born. That's Nessa Rose. And they were real scared of having another green baby. So she started taking this medicine that they said they got from, pardon the phrase, a gypsy in the book. We don't use that phrase anymore. It's the Roma. But they bought this potion and she was taking it. And so Nessa, she wasn't born green, but she was born with no arms.
Right. I was going to say, I feel like even in the play, didn't she have some kind of physical disability?
I don't know about the play, but in the movie, she was in a wheelchair.
Something. Okay.
Yeah. And so she is born, and then a couple years later, she has a son, and she dies in childbirth, giving birth to the son. And that actually, the son isn't in. I don't know if he's in the play, but he's not in the movie.
I don't remember him.
Yeah, but they don't really talk. He's not really in it. They just talk about him.
Okay.
Or whatever. So yeah, now Elphaba, she's just like, okay, I'm just out here. Her parents, like, they just kind of deal with her. They don't really love her though, but she's still their daughter, so they kind of do, but not really. Fast forward, she ends up at Shiz. And it's interesting because in the book, they don't really deal with Chiz all that much. Like even though that's the focal point of like the movie and the play and stuff, it's just one sliver of it. Like that's just the little college years where she meets Glinda, because Glinda's not in it that much either. Like she plays a part, but she's not in it that much. Okay. And so yeah, Glinda's there. I feel like I'm leaving something out, but whatever, I can come back to it. But so yeah, they while she is there, she meets Brock, who's in Munchkinland. What was that other dude's name? Ferrero. They meet up. And while they're there, Elphaba, I relate to Elphaba in so many ways. For one, it was really interesting too, because she was just very outspoken. Even though her father's a minister, she was like, I don't believe any of this. Ooh, she was like, yeah.
Controversial.
In opposition to Nessa, who was like super, super into it.
Of course.
Yeah. And stuff like that. So, you know, she gets there, and in Oz, there's two types of animals. There's animal with a capital A and just regular animals. So like, you remember how the lion could talk and stuff like that? So those are capital A animals and stuff like that. But the wizard started all these policies discriminating against capital A animals. And only Elphaba would seem to be upset about it. And so she was like, I want to go and talk to the wizard about it.
It's some bullshit.
Yeah. So she goes with, I know she goes with Glinda. Was Brock and them there? Maybe, maybe not. So they go to the wizard to try to talk him out of it, and he's just, you know, on some bullshit. So she's like,
this is her actual daddy.
She doesn't know that, but yes, that's her actual daddy. Yes. And so he's like, yeah, you gotta, you know, they have beef or whatever. So she's like, I'm not going back to Chiz. I can't do this stuff no more. And Glinda's like, all right. And so Nessa feels hurt because she's like, well, you just kind of abandoned me, and you know, whatever. So
I wonder if this is making a sound.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe not. Thank you. And so after Elphaba leaves Chiz, she kind of like lives a monastic life for a while, and like joins this kind of like, maybe not monastery, but like, what's it called, with nuns or whatever, like a convent. Okay. And like takes a vow of silence for a couple, I think like 5 years or something, and then she ends up running into Fierro, who got married, and he's got like a couple kids and stuff, but they live somewhere else. So she starts hooking up with him. And hooking up, getting it in. When I tell you, there was so much sex in this book. Like,
what? No, hold on, now where's my drink at?
It was like, it was like, I was like, whoa. Like, it was very, very like, okay. So even though like she knows he's married, but she's like, whatever. So they start hooking up, but she's part of the underground, like that's trying to get rid of the wizard. So she's like, look, Fiera, I need you to like lay low because we're planning something, okay? Just promise me you won't go out for whatever their big holiday was or whatever, because that's when they were planning something or whatever. Anyway, it looks like he ends up getting killed.
I'm about to say he dies. I knew just from you saying that.
Well, but here's the thing. Once again, spoilers, he actually doesn't end up dying. They never find the body. He ends up getting turned into the Scarecrow. That's who the Scarecrow is. Yes. And then Brock ends up being turned into the Tin Man. And then the lion was actually a lion cub she rescued from Chiz when they started experimenting on animals, trying to get them to, because they were saying animals should be seen and not heard when they were trying to get rid of the animals and stuff. But they always blamed Elphaba for what happened to them, even though like she was like, I tried to save you. And then like, even with like the Tin Man, she wasn't in charge of that. Nessa had actually bewitched an axe that ended up turning him into the Tin Man. And then with the Fierro or whatever, they didn't get to it in the book how he got turned into the Scarecrow. But when I was watching a synopsis video about Wicked, like the second part of like the play or whatever, they just talked about how like he was the Scarecrow or whatever. Okay. And so, yeah, but of course then Dorothy shows up. And, you know, she's like, and kills Nessa and takes her shoes. And so Elphaba was like, oh, fuck no. Like, I'm not about to, oh, wait, let me rewind it back. Let me rewind it back a little bit. When Elphaba was in the little convent or whatever, she doesn't remember it, but apparently she got like knocked up and had a baby.
Elphaba?
Yes. Name, what was his little name? Like Leek?
Remember.
It was like Leek or Lick. Something like that. It started with an L. I can't remember right now. But she has a baby, and like, but because when she left the convent, they were like, well, you got to take this little boy with you. And she's like, why? And they're like, you just have to. And so she ends up actually living with Fierro's wife like in the mountains because they're like mountain people and
I have
stuff.
so much stuff I want to say, but I'm not going to
And
do
ends
it.
up killing one of his sons because they tried to kill her son. Like there was like a fish well, and like her son, like Maverick or something like that, ended up like he was like always bullying her son. She didn't
like
know it was
Game
her
of
son at the
Thrones
time,
or like the
but
House
yeah,
of
she was always
Dragons.
like bullying him and stuff like that. So she doesn't directly kill him, but she doesn't realize she kind of has powers yet. So she just kind of like imagined an ice pick falling on the little boy, and that's what happened.
Oh no!
Yeah, so
That
she ends
would
up
be
killing one of his
gangster.
sons.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I don't need that.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, she's got this little son or whatever. So Dorothy ends up, fast forward, Dorothy ends up showing up, kills Nessa Rose, takes her, and Glinda gives her the shoes. She was like, Glinda, those were not yours to give. Like my daddy gave her them shoes. It's like, well, Glinda was like, well, I made a magic. She's like, I don't care about all that. And so
They were mine.
And then at this point, Elphaba, she's been through so much. She was also sleep deprived. She stopped sleeping because she was having nightmares and stuff like that. So when she finally ends up confronting like everybody, she's a little flipped out, and that's when they end up throwing the salt water on her, and that's kind of how it ends and stuff like that. But like it was crazy to me because so many of the themes were like fascism, like from The Wizard.
Oh my God.
And like trying to fight that, and then just this sort of just discrimination because Elpha, she couldn't, like, no matter what, she stopped seeking approval because she was never going to get it.
And isn't that relatable?
Very deeply relatable.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to have to contort myself into something that I'm never going to be. And even when I do, it's just like, we talk about respectability politics. It's like, well, even though I'm performing, right? We talked about this imitation of life. Like we're always imitating this sort of idea of what we think we're supposed to be in the world. But you can't change how other people see you.
Mm-mm. And especially when there's a large overarching power at work to drop propaganda,
suppress,
all of that stuff. So she got also irritated because when Dorothy showed up, everybody's like, even her son was like, "Oh, I'll help you, but not if it means hurting Dorothy." She was like,
"What about me?"
She was like, "Why do I even bother trying to help you when you're so quick to just ignore whatever I'm saying to
go right over here?"
I was like, that was relatable too.
Wow.
I was like, kids don't be listening.
Like, but I said that already, and then this. Okay.
It's like, what do you know, lady?
Right.
So yeah,
Oh
it was good. It was really well written. There were all of these different. Actually, let me see my little notes. I had a couple of little things. Of course, I had to make a note of.
Well, while you're looking at it, can I say something real quick?
I'm allow it.
Okay, thank you.
I didn't take pictures of my notes. I took a picture of my grocery list.
I feel like this has happened before. That sounds. Listen, it was the week we had, friend. I understand.
It is.
No, but I like that this story highlights in general just sort of that contrast of what was it? No. The complex characters. I like. I love like a prequel. Like I love hearing the story behind, because I think stories that kind of explore what is evil, what is good, what are, like there's always this thin line that we're walking to what makes somebody good or bad or evil. So I always want to know the backstory. Like what happened though? Because nobody starts off like that.
Right.
So I just love anytime a storyteller takes the time to take us back and be like, okay, here's what happened with us.
Or just what happens when you push up against the idea of like, for instance, when I was growing up, I was always taught that gay people were bad. But it's like, what if you push up against that narrative? Because it's kind of like, well, why though? Because it's like, I'm not seeing it. So why? And it's that same thing of like, actually, when you look into it, like just demonizing an entire group of people, that's always the wrong move. Unless that group of people is like rapist. But like when it's something that you're just born into and you want to play, whether it's like, oh, it's the Jews. It's like, oh, it's the trans. It's the whatever.
The blacks.
Yeah, it's the blacks. It's like, no, I don't think that's what it is. Like, it's all, whenever there's someone who's trying to demonize a group, it's like an old saying, it's like they're throwing stones to hide their hands.
Exactly.
So,
I just love that. I love that idea. I love being able to like hear her backstory. And I love the unlikely friendship too, because like I know it doesn't really touch about it on the book, but like in the play, in the movie, just the redemption part of like, being in a place like you have Glinda, who's Ariana Grande's character in the movie, who, like you're steeped in all of this air quotes goodness. Like you're the ideal popular
Glinda
person.
the good.
Yeah.
You're rich.
Yeah, you're rich and honestly, and it's easy for you to look at Elphaba and be like, just smile or do
Right.
you know, like it's so easy to tell somebody who's been through something that all you have to do is just be positive and just smile. And it's like,
Popular.
yeah.
I know about popular.
It's like, I don't want to hear about that. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, but I like the idea of her, like their journey together and her getting to a point where she actually sees Elphaba and, you know, they form this bond because it means, to me, it just gives me hope.
Oh,
like,
can I still tell you in the book they made out?
That's the hope.
Elphaba and
That wasn't
Glinda.
the hope I was talking about. I mean, not that I begrudge anybody making out, but that
But
wasn't
yeah,
the
like when they
friendly
said
kind of hope.
goodbye, like they made a point of being like, yeah, she kissed her
Like,
twice.
honk, honk.
Yeah, they didn't go like full hand, but she was just like, you know,
Here's a little tongue for you on your way.
She's like, toss,
Wow.
toss, toss, toss.
Oh, God.
Ariana
Wow.
Grande. Okay, let me just say in the
Oh
movie,
my
she nailed that
God.
to the wall.
Oh, my
And Cynthia
goodness.
Erivo,
Bravo.
perfection.
I've
Like
heard.
I cried. Like same when
can't wait.
Defying Gravity.
Oh, man. I think that's
Because-
the song that got me in the actual musical. 'cause it was like- because it's that like
I can't
that
want
feeling,
it.
that swelling, that emotional. It sounds just like this when Cynthia sings
it. If not better.
almost better, Cynthia. So take notes.
It's so.
Oh my God.
I'm like in love with this property now because it was so funny growing up. I really didn't care much for The Wizard of Oz. I like The Wiz, but The Wizard of Oz just always kind of like there's just something about this like I don't like.
It's like anticlimactic, but then also too, it's
But
kind of.
I think it's because even like there's still this thing where like people still really like the Wizard. I never liked the Wizard.
who liked the Wizard?
I don't know. Like to me, it was always this thing of well. Here's the other thing, because there's also this big push against it because it's seen as woke. Because
Wait,
the new Wicked, like the movie, like there's some pushback against it because it's like too woke because like a lot of the students at Shiz, like they're wearing skirts and pants, like they're seeing that as cross-dressing. Cynthia Erivo, she's very open about being queer. Like a lot, there's queer. I mean, it's musical theater.
I'm about to. Let's go back. What was the year that this was? Like, I mean, this is an old ass story. Like, this stuff isn't new. It's just it's crazy. The universality, the word for that. It feels like it transcends time, right? Like we can fast forward till now and it's still relevant. So I think it's weird that you're trying to now say like this is something
woke.
like it's woke. It's like this story is so universal and so humanistic that it's so old. Like what you mean?
Yeah, and it was so and then you get into the lore of Oz because the wizard deposed the rightful ruler of Oz. It was like this magical princess. So like he took
Like a
over like
coup?
huh?
Like a coup, like he took over.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So
Like January 6th? Try, but it's
but it
successful.
worked. Yeah, but it worked. And he established himself. And even though he wasn't magical, he pretended like he was. He just had all of this stuff to make him seem like he could do. The Grimory, that was something that came up where it was this book from like basically our world that ended up in Oz that the wizard wanted. And that he was trying to get that from Elphaba. And she was like,
Nah, fam, I don't see it for
I'm
you.
going to need them shoes first.
Oh.
Because
Oh,
that
that's
was
right.
the thing that was kind of interesting too. Because after Elphaba left Shiz, Munchkinland actually separated from Oz and became their own thing. So the wizard was trying to get that back too. And even though Nessa, she was considered kind of like a tyrant. Because she got super duper like religious. And so it was like she was trying to, basically she just turned into like Iran. You know what I mean? Like
No.
just kind of like where it's like I'm establishing sort of a caliphate where we're just ruling off of, and it was to the point where even her daddy, the minister, was like, you going a little
This
too
is-
hard.
Wow.
Oh, this is what I forgot. Okay. So after Elphaba was born, like she's a toddler and her mom was like a really social, beautiful person. So she really resented like kind of having to live in the woods as a minister's wife. Like she wasn't
Bitch, I'm
into
not
it.
for the streets.
Because even like her nanny, like her kind of what
Mother's
is it?
helper.
Not what are they called? Yeah, nanny.
Okay.
Yeah, like the nanny that she grew up with, she came to help her, and the nanny was kind of asking her about Elphaba, like why she's green. She was like, "Is Fix? Is he the father? Because I remember you. Like you was always out here." So
Girl, I remember you twirling
and
out.
she was like, "I don't know, maybe I don't really remember." So. So when Elphaba's like a couple years old or whatever, they're just kind of like out, and the stranger comes by named Turtleheart. And I think he's supposed to be a quadling, which is sort of a stand-in for Native Americans, I think.
Okay.
And so he just shows up. He's a glass blower. And so, because I think he ends up making like the crystal ball or whatever. So he shows up, and they of course start smashing because more than likely
Don't
that's
say of
Nesta
course.
Rose's.
Don't
That's Nesta Rose. More than likely Nesta Rose's real daddy. And so, but he also starts sleeping with Fex. Like they end up being a throuple.
What in the
Like
Wizard of...
And so that's why he didn't even care like if he was really Nesta. Nesta was always his favorite because it could have been either his or Turtleheart's daughter.
He's like, it don't matter.
So like he kind of almost even loves her more had that been Turtleheart's daughter. Like he was like just so into him. So
who would have thought?
Yeah.
Now, when are they gonna really remake this? Then they will never make the book.
No,
Yeah, 'cause
no.
that would be like an HBO special.
It would have
It'd
to.
be
I
like
mean, I was like, what?
After Dark, Wicked After Dark.
Oh yeah, because
Really wicked.
really wicked. Or no, just oh. But did you see that the wicked Barbie dolls they made of Ariana Grande?
No.
And Cynthia Erivo on the back, the website, instead of putting wickedmovie.com, they put wicked.com, which for people who don't know or not, that is a porn site.
Is that about to
Wicked?
Google it? No.
Don't do that to your computer. But like, yeah, wicked.com will take you to some intimate smashing and not.
It does. Wicked. Access beyond this page restricted to adults only. Click here.
So that was kind of funny.
Wowzers.
Whoever was in charge of
no social media stuff. Yeah, you messed
yeah,
that
well,
up.
not just social media, just the graphics people. Like this is why you have to have a spell checker and an editor because someone has to be like, guys,
do you know where that takes you?
yeah. But so they made a bunch of them, shipped them out and everything. Wicked.com.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was definitely.
But
adult.
yes, it was because there's also like a body puppet show as well. And there's like a pornographic puppet show. There's also
in the book?
There's also some bestiality. Like they do like kind of a show, with the munchkins and a tiger.
Say what?
Yeah. I was like,
Is this a Christmas story?
no, it is not for the
Wow.
children. So yeah, they sanitized a lot for the Broadway
my
play and
God.
then the movie. But I gotta say, I love them both.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see some other themes in the book. We talk about. I feel like this is something that comes up all the time, right? Identity and self acceptance. I mean, the green skin thing definitely feels like a universal. So with you saying that people feel like this is a woke story. So Cynthia Erivo, I mean, like, even though in her character is not like white or black, because that doesn't exist necessarily, but she's green, you can still tell that she has like features, like, like African.
She got
features
micro
or
braids
whatever.
and really
Yeah.
long nails.
So like, is this criticism, like people are mad because she's black too? Like, is that part of it? It's like, well, why is the Wicked Witch green?
Well, they're also mad too
who's
because
actually
there's
black?
sorcery. So, because I remember when I was growing up, I wasn't allowed. I couldn't go to the My Little Pony movie. I couldn't watch the Smurfs. Like there was so much stuff I
Rainbow Bright?
wasn't. That came on early enough in the morning that I don't think my mom even clocked
Under
it.
the radar. Let's go.
So yes, but basically, whenever there was any kind of magic that's seen as sorcery, and as everyone can tell now, I'm totally a witch. Oh, that was something I remember from my notes because.
Just casually drop that in. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, of course, like I don't believe in magic, so to me, there's no danger there. Like if my children start dabbling in the dark arts, it's like, okay, weirdo.
Sure.
But
The dark arts to me though is just being a terrible person, right? Like if you just are actually like taking people's health care away or
yeah,
making
there's
billions of
real
dollars on the
evil
back.
in this
There's like
world.
actual evil.
There's actual
me
evil in this world.
Using my imagination and creating worlds that don't exist. I don't even understand how
Getting
that's
millions
hurtful.
of people hooked on opioids.
Boom.
Like, so you can get rich.
Those are the dark arts.
Just slightly richer. Because really, once you're rich, there's only, like, it gets a little, But I was joking because, everyone kept calling Elphaba a witch. And she's like, I ain't got no powers. I'm just out here.
Wow.
But I'm realizing now throughout history, a witch is pretty much just an unmarried woman who likes learning stuff.
With or without a man?
Well, no.
Yes. Because you're a witch if you don't. Like, I think if you... So whether it's because your husband died and you're alone and you won't take another person, like, I do think that, like, there's this autonomy issue with women who are autonomous.
That's what I'm saying. Like an unmarried woman, because even if he's dead, you're unmarried.
Yeah, that's
so. So if you're an unmarried woman who likes learning stuff, that pretty much in any society makes you a witch. And so I guess I'm a witch. I actually have been called a witch.
Witches live longer.
Do they?
I keep hearing that. I keep seeing articles about how unmarried women live longer than women who are married.
I mean, I kind of
feel like that tracks, man. Too much going on.
It's a lot. It takes a lot out of you. So this idea of like she's wicked, this wicked witch, and so she just started leaning into it. She's like, all right, I guess I'm that. Like I'd rather be feared than respected. I guess if I can't have respect, I'll settle for fear. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'll settle for fear because that'll control your behavior. At least you stay kind of.
Well, you're gonna have to respect me though if you're scared because you're gonna still have to bow down.
If you respect your life, you better respect this fear.
That's just what it is.
So okay. So I'm glad I remembered that from the notes. There was something else that really clever from the book that I wrote down, but I can't remember. Oh well.
You've done a lot, friend, because you're basically carrying this episode saying how I did not read the book, friend. So,
but. Because what was Loathing? Did you get a chance to listen to Loathing?
No, I could play it now.
Yeah, we'll have to kind of mute this part or whatever. I'll do a little dance so that there's visually something for the YouTube.
3 minutes later.
How cute is that?
Yeah.
The fact that there's a song about loathing actually does make me feel very happy.
I thought you'd like it. Yeah. Like it's just it's like a love song, but for hate.
It's so petty. It's like, I love the contrast of me talking about how much I hate your guts. But I'm singing it in an uplifting sort of, it's like, let's get into
feeling. But even the fact that hate and love are just two sides of the same coin because they end up being good buddies.
Yeah, they do.
And they're able to kind of get out of that. But I think so many reasons I love Elphaba. But for one, like I deeply relate to being the wrong color.
Well, you are.
At school. Like, why are you this color? Like, why are you even here? Why are you better at me at this subject? Ooh. Like, that was a big point of contention. Not in the book. In the book,
in your life. I get it.
Well, in the movie, Elphaba is better than Glinda at sorcery. Like, Glinda wants to be this sorcerer or whatever, and Glinda just has a natural affinity for it. But in the book, like, Glinda actually didn't want to get into sorcery. Madame Morrible was like, oh, you'd probably be good at this. I see this for you. And then Glinda was just kind of like, I don't even think this stuff is, I ain't got nothing to do with this. I just don't like the fact what y'all are doing to these animals.
Glinda or Elphaba?
Elphaba.
Okay.
Glinda couldn't care nothing else. Okay. She's like, I don't know. I guess they seem okay.
Yeah, they straight. We out here. I mean, it's just what a wonderful exploration of, again, like I just always love those stories of good and evil when we're asking ourselves, like, what really is this? And I think it's important to introduce those concepts to kids too, because I know that this isn't, I mean, obviously from the book, this isn't like a kid's book, but like, the actual musical and the movie, I mean, I think it could, maybe not so much. I mean, the musical depends on if you take your kids to that kind of stuff, but definitely because Ariana's in it. Was she Nickelodeon? Yeah, Nickelodeon. Like the kids are gonna want to see this, and I like the idea of sort of challenging what we think about when we think about you know, what is a villain? You know, those kinds of things. Because these are conversations I have with my kids all the time. I'm always like, what's the backstory though?
Yeah,
You know,
it's
important
so
to
easy
consider.
to just demonize a person like they're just bad.
Yeah.
Or just, I remember reading a thing too about how it's technically considered child abuse to tell like a child under 5 they're bad.
Yowza.
Yeah, like you like putting that label, it's just like, no, like because children just internalize stuff. It's like, oh, I'm inherently bad. It's like, no, you're both.
Let me ask you this though, because you said at the top of the episode that the author was sort of asking this question of like, if you name something evil, is it a self-fulfilling prophecy? What are your thoughts on that after, you know, living life and reading this art? And
I think all prophecies are ultimately self-fulfilling. I'm not really I'm not convinced that prophecy really exists. Like things can just be sort of revealed or whatever. Like we can set goals, we can have observations, but this idea, even in Harry Potter, like that prophecy ended up being, there's so many ways to interpret a prophecy that ultimately it ends up becoming true on just how you view it. Right. Like for instance, I'm gonna go into Dune real quick. So Dune Prophecy is the HBO show. Actually, the season finale is tonight. Oh my God. Pretty excited. Well, actually, this will air after it. So future me, when you're listening to this, will be like, oh yeah, that was pretty good.
Did that.
But the Bene Gesserit, which are sort of these witches, they're, you know, they call them witches in the Dune universe. They have this prophecy for one, but they also create prophecies to control populations. So when they get to the Dune planet Arrakis, they've, for like, I think hundreds or maybe even thousands of years, planted the prophecy of the Kisa Cataract.
Of course.
Yeah, you know. And so when the main character Timothée Chalamet shows up, the groundwork had already been laid.
Right, he just has to pop in that thing and do it. Yeah.
It's like, so this idea of, you know, one who's like born into blah, 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 whatever the little prophecy is, you can make it
and his
work.
mom was like, yo, I mean, they already think it's you. You might as well be that
Yes,
dude.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and because the mom was actually, she was in violation of the Bene Gesserit by even having him, because they had ordered
like Elphaba.
No, they ordered her to have a girl, because like the Bene Gesserit can control their bodies on a cellular level, and so they had this like 1,000 years like genetic breeding program they called the Golden Path. They were trying to create these like ideal rulers to keep human beings from wiping themselves out. It's a good goal. Well, sometimes girls, sometimes boys, like depending on your orders from the mother superior about what you're supposed to do. But because Lady Jessica was just so in love with her husband and she knew how bad he wanted a son, she ended up having a son for him.
Okay.
But all that to say, I think that ultimately relying too hard on prophecy is a folly. Like life is going to unfold. You can make it look like it's like, oh, it's part of this like destiny or whatever. But I don't like... It's too lofty for me.
I got
So what do you think?
I don't know. I think it's a little bit of what you're saying. Like, I think that like, because we end up becoming the things that we think and say, you know? So it is almost kind of like, I don't know. Like if my parents have, since the time I got here, were telling me you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a doctor. This is in my consciousness. This is what I'm telling myself now. These are so now I'm moving in that, like I'm doing the things because I mean, I'm expected to. So I do think that we're performing, you know, if life is an imitation of itself, then we are, like I think sometimes we're performing that, and it is self-fulfilling in that way. And I think we see that in different cultures and different, because, you know, I think about, you know, the way that, you know, even, I don't want to just make it black people, but marginalized groups are looked at. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you're this, you're that. Like you get this sort of, I wish I had a really good way of, I don't know, like this title, like you get this title and then you end up performing it for better or for worse. You know what I mean?
Your
like,
role.
It's your role. Yeah. It's like you get your casting sheet and you're like, oh, okay.
Well,
I'm
it's
the
funny
dude
you say
on the
casting, but
side.
like a cast.
It is.
Like
That's
we
what it
talked
feels
about
like.
that, where it's just like, and if you step outside of that.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. I kind of did that with my kids. Like I kind of programmed them. Like but in a good, like, you're super smart. Like,
Yeah,
we're
you're amazing. What are you talking about?
It's like, or we're really good at math. Like, our family's really good at math. So you're probably going to be really good at math.
Yeah.
And they're both really good at math.
Right.
Is it because I told them that, or is it because they were just going to be good at math?
Right.
I don't know, because I don't have like a separate set of kids I can run this experiment on.
I don't think it hurts. So I do think that, like you're always telling me or saying in general, you should speak. The words that we say do tend to sort of
Yeah, like when you put yourself down. I'm
Yeah.
always like pissed off because I'm like, stop talking
Like,
about
why
my
are you
friend
doing
like that.
Yeah, because you do internalize that, right? Like and I even heard Miss Pat saying that on a recent episode, how she was just like, I mean, I have everything that I ever said I was going to have, even before I knew how I was going to get it, because I just feel like you have to talk. Yeah, you have to talk. So in that way, I do think that you can fulfill your own prophecies for better or for worse. So you do have to be careful about the things you're being told, or the things you're saying about people, and the things you believe about yourself. So
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
very,
Shout
very
out to Miss Pat,
true.
yeah.
Yeah. I like
love
her.
it.
I like her. So yeah, that was yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in the movie, because now I'm just lightweight obsessed with Nessa Rose, Fiyero, The Wonderful Wizard, Madame Morrible, Dr. Dilliman. Oh, I guess I didn't really talk about him. He was the goat. He was a goat professor. He ends up getting murdered.
Oh no.
In the book. In the movie, I feel like he just got like captured or something. Or fired.
He went away.
Yeah, he went away. And then there's Shell. So yeah, Neighborhood of Evil, Propaganda and Terrorism. Oh, that makes sense. So McGuire was a lifelong Catholic. I could believe that.
McGuire? Which
He's the
one
dude
was
who wrote the book.
Oh. I'm like,
Gregory McGuire. Gregory McGuire was a lifelong Catholic, which
that's that propaganda.
Yeah.
Right, you're handed a lot of stuff, when you are, whether it's your religion or your ethnicity and the things that, this group does. Like, we all believe, oh yeah, because we're this group or we're part of that means that we're inherently this or that. And I think that sometimes those things do become true because this is the story we're telling ourselves. And we live those things out, but also we do have the power, like you're saying. It's not necessarily etched in stone, because what we tell ourselves can evolve, and we can see ourselves outside of those sort of constructs. So,
how have you evolved? Like, what's something that you used to tell yourself about yourself that you were able to kind of break?
Well, maybe that I wasn't a great student.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was like, man, maybe I'm like, I have two really bright brothers, I feel like, who always did well in school. Well, and then I'm saying that. Yeah, well, yeah. So I just always felt like I was the slow one, kind of, But, going back to school as an adult student and basically, like, getting
nailing
honors
it
and stuff. Yeah, it was like, I just didn't try hard enough, baby.
Okay,
back then.
and I
Or it
feel
was what I
like,
was telling myself.
but is it because women aren't academically? Because I think about the things that like I said, I bring the story up a lot, but it really pissed me off when my daughter was doing the at-home learning during the lockdown, and it was during a math lesson, and her like male instructor, after she got a right answer, said, "Oh, well, that was pretty obvious." And I remember feeling very, very angry. And afterwards, I didn't say anything. I didn't interrupt the lesson. When it was over, I sat down and talked to her. I was like, you know what? I heard something that bothered me when you were, doing the lesson or whatever, and you gave the right answer, and your teacher said, well, that was pretty obvious. And I don't think he should have said that to you. I think he should have just said either correct or good job.
Sure.
And me being the smartass that I am, I would have been like, well, why are you asking obvious questions? Yeah. If it was just so obvious. Because at the end of the day, you were paying attention and you're smart. Mm-hmm. Like, that's why you got the right answer. So I want you to internalize that and know that, like, even though you're not getting that encouragement. And I think I know for me, because I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm very artistic. Mm-hmm. And so something that artistic children are told a lot is that you're not going to be good at math because you're the right left brain stuff or whatever. So you're using your left brain for art and your right brain for math. Okay. But in real life, if you're doing art, you're using a ton of math because you're using ratios. And so once I realized that, I was like, well, that means I'm probably good at math because I really, in 5th grade, that's when math starts getting kind of tricky. They introduce numbers and the algebra and all this stuff. And I was getting a little intimidated, but then I started telling myself, I'm good at math. I can be really good at that. Like my dad's good at math. Why can't I be good at math? And I started being really good at it.
See?
So I think it's a little bit of sexism a lot of times when it comes to education, where we really do need to give a lot of our girls that extra push. Like, you're like this idea of being like, my feeble female mind can't handle figures.
Yeah, no, and it's not true. But again, like it comes down to that self-fulfilling prophecy. Like if you're telling yourself that and it's not being reinforced and you don't really see that, it's easy to believe. It's easy to internalize and just be like, fuck it, I'm not good at it.
Well, thank you, books.
So,
I feel like I got a lot of sort of an expansive view of the world and what's possible from books.
Absolutely.
I've always been an avid reader. Speaking of books, there's also a graphic novel. It's not out yet. It's going to come out in March of 2025, but there's going to be a graphic novel of the adaptation of Wicked. So I'll, yeah. Damn it. It's like, I love that for you.
Oh, that's so great.
All right, well, let's take a break.
Okay,
Because
friend.
we gotta, we're doing pretty good. But
We are. We'll be right back, you guys. All right, you guys, welcome back from the break. What an episode, friend.
It was.
Yeah. I love it. It honestly it has me very excited about actually seeing the movie. So if you guys are like me, like your friend Moni, you haven't seen it, hopefully you're excited now because I do feel like the screenplay and the actual play were very similar, it sounds like, from what I've seen.
Okay.
Yeah, so I feel, whereas the book, maybe not so much.
We took a hard left.
Oh my God, it's almost always the case, right? Like, I feel like books very seldom are exactly like whatever we see visualized in a movie or play or whatever. So I guess it's not a total surprise, but definitely the throuple, that threw me off. I wasn't expecting to hear you say nothing
when that
like
part,
that,
I was
friend.
like, what? And I was like, when was
Wow.
this? Was like 1995.
Let's go.
We didn't even have the word throuple back then.
But that's what it was.
But they were there.
Okay.
They existed. I'm like, okay.
All right.
The minister, though.
Well, so what was your biggest takeaway from the book / movie / like what do you feel like you got from it? Or what do you think the important overall message? Let's leave. I feel like it's a Christmas episode. We have message. Got a message.
I would say the overarching message of both the film and the book is that the truth is usually very unpopular.
And where's the hopeful part, friend? Jeez.
It's just there. I feel like our recent election was sort of a referendum on that. Like people are much more eager for a lie
Oof. Yeah.
than
It
the
feels
truth.
nice.
Yeah.
It's like butter.
Because when I can lie about stuff, everything's perfect. I
That
don't
is
have
so
to
true.
change anything. I'm great.
Yeah.
But
You responded very nicely to a lie I told you not that long ago. You were like, did the Colts win? I was saying, and I said, yes, they are.
it might not have been a lie. You were just saying whatever. They might be winning.
I planned on,
Let me see. What
I
are the
didn't
Colts
know.
doing?
I didn't know.
Let me
And
see.
so therefore I lied to you because I didn't know
Right,
that
because
to be the
they're
truth.
playing Tennessee today.
But I knew
Colts.
that's what you wanted to hear, so I said it, friend. I
They
said
did win. You were telling the truth. Look at that. They won by
Technicality.
8 points. Take that. But sounds like it was a real game, though. I might have to go
God.
back and watch some highlights.
Man, listen,
Go sports.
go sports. Oh my God.
But yes, I look forward to you seeing it. We might have to circle back to it. Maybe that can be because next. Oh wait, do we need to spin the wheel, or am I gonna rate it? What am I doing? I forget how. What do we do?
Listen, it's like, how are we this
does this
many
show
years
work?
into this? What is this and what is
This
happening?
is my first day here. What do we do?
So what we're going to do now, friends, since I didn't get a chance to actually read the book, you're going to rate it quickly, and then we're going to spin the wheel so we can let the people know what we have coming up next week. Okay?
I'm
So,
giving the movie and the book 5 out of 5 witch hats.
Ooh,
It's the year of the Bruja.
let's go. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it, friends. Okay, so then now we just have to spin the damn wheel then. So spin it. Okay. Well, friend, it looks like it's a holiday / New Year episode, which means it's a fake ass episode, guys.
Yeah.
So we're going to be recapping our holiday. We're going to be tapping in on some things that we want to talk about, letting you guys know how our holiday went, all of those kinds of things. And there could be some stuff we don't even know about right now because we're figuring it out. Okay.
But I'm predicting it's going to be great.
It's going to be amazing.
That's my prophecy.
Hello.
I'm seeing...
oh, it's going to be amazing. I see it.
Yeah.
Because we're amazing, friends. And you guys are amazing. And thank you so much. We really do hope that you guys are taking this time to tap in with your family. If you don't have your family with you, if you're removed either by time and space or just location, you guys.
Or if your biological family sucks and you have to have a found family.
Damn. Right. Because that does happen. Tap in the places that you are welcome and that you are seen and known.
And don't let your family bait you.
Oh.
Keep it low and say no. And stay in control.
I hate that for you guys if that's what's happening.
That's a lot of people's experience.
I know, see, and I forget about that. Look at me, look at my privilege. I just enjoy my family.
Your good ass family privilege.
I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what they be
like,
doing.
is that what happens to other people?
Right. Oh my god.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Ew.
Yeah, I feel like that was in 30 Rock when Jack was trying to do with his mom.
Oof.
He was like, stay low, say no.
Okay.
So don't let people take you to that register where it's elevated because people are trying to get you to do that. It's very frustrating for dysfunctional people when you don't join in with it. Like, let them do that by themselves and you just be normal size.
And they hate that.
They do.
So, yeah, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Kat, is there anything you want to leave our listeners with this week before we get the hell out of here?
Your body belongs to you, even if it's green.
Yeah, absolutely. I like it. I noticed you with the green on.
I told you I'm in my villain era.
You are. I like it, friend. I like it.
It's giving Grinch, Elphaba, Shrek.
All of the girls.
Yeah, Oscar the Grouch.
Ooh, I
like there's
him.
a
Kermit.
lot of pizzazz from Jim. Like there's
Kermit.
all these.
He's off.
Kermit is amazing.
He is amazing.
But he's not a villain.
It's not easy being
But
green,
like I said, like all
knew.
these villains, like they have a backstory. Like it's not, because I like that about Shrek, where it was supposed to be like, oh, he's the big bag ogre.
Yeah.
But he was actually better than the prince.
He really was. Good for you, Shrek. Way to come back. All right, guys. So we're gonna get on out of here, friend. Let's
listen.
Fine. We'll just be.
I did what I was supposed to do, which was drink all of my champagne.
I'm on my way, guys. See you next time. Peace.
Before we go, we must give thanks to Urban Nerd for providing our music, and legal services were handled by Jon M. Atkins. If you like what you heard, please feel free to join us every Wednesday for another fake-ass book club. Cheers.
Thank you guys for listening. You can check us out at thefabpodcast.com. Please subscribe, rate, and review our podcast wherever you're listening right now. We want to hear from you. Come put it in our life. Thanks again, and until next time, peace, love, and the Fake Ass Book Club. We out.